Peace and prosperity be unto all who's listening and watching. It's your girl, Shaeranea, right? And I'm back with another video. And today we're going to talk about the Miss Jada and Will Smith. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's being judgmental. Everybody wants to have their say. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now. There's a lot of things streaming in the world. And people are always so concerned with what other people are doing and placing judgment in places where it does not need their judgment, to the point where they lose track that they're not perfect, that they make mistakes that are unjustifiable to somebody else, or that they done somebody wrong. And people often forget when they see somebody else who made a mistake, they're quick to judge that person. But we're all lawyers for the mistakes and judges of ourselves. But when it comes to mistakes and the mistakes and flaws of other people, we're very good judges. So everybody needs to check themselves before they go, going to attack Miss Jada and Will Smith. Jada is a real example of you can be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, no matter what age you are, you can be those ages and still not heal from childhood trauma, still not understand how to be fully content. You can be rich in this world, but still not know how to love yourself. You can be financially free in this world and still not, have a contentment and peace within yourself. Jada is a true example of if you don't learn to give yourself happiness, if you don't find a sense of peace, if you don't find a sense of love for yourself, what you'll turn out to do, the experiences you will have. I've seen in many videos on her talk show where it was Jada and Willa and her mother talking, and Jada seemed to have a lot of anger growing up throughout the years, and a lot of resentment, and a lot of things have been building up in Miss Jada. And if you're never taught as a child to overcome those things, your inner child can be hurt. We all have an inner child. We all learn to become adults over time. We're still children, okay? We just became adults over time. So when you think about Jada, think about the inner child that hasn't healed in her. You think about the things that she haven't learned to overcome, especially if her mother and her father never showed her how to overcome certain things, if they never sat down and talk about certain particular aspects that could have, affected Jada's vision or perspective on certain things like marriage. Jada has strongly voiced that she's not really for marriage, and she never really wanted it. So with people judging Jada is one of those kind of people. She's a Virgo, for anybody who didn't know. Jada's one of those kind of people who are very open-minded, and it's a good thing. But even in that sense, being open-minded, if you're not somebody who is healed, and you're not somebody who studies different things, you don't know the cause or what those things may do to you, tying other people to your soul. If you're not a healed person and you're bringing other people in, trying to heal them, because she seems like someone who wants to heal people. And when you if you're a healer, but you're a broken healer, and you put yourself in a place of wanting to heal people in a broken mentality, in a broken state, you're just gonna hurt more people. And if people don't learn to work on themselves and find contentment within themselves, they can end up hurting so many people. Will Smith is a great example of somebody who understands that Jada needs to find her true happiness outside of him, and he allows her the freedom to figure out what makes her happy. Now, how she went to go get her happiness, or how she went to experience to find her happiness, was not what everybody expected, but her experience is not everybody else's experience. No, we should not normalize and justify cheating. Okay, she cheated, okay, at the end of the day, but they were at a point in their marriage where they were like, they were just on ice. Like, nothing was happening between them. Okay, he was like, figure it out for yourself. She was like, okay, you know, like there was nothing official. Like, if they wanted to be divorced because they couldn't come to a place of talking to each other, or, you know, getting to that place, it became to this place. So she went looking for happiness in another relationship, and come to find out, what she was really looking for is happiness and contentment within herself. I watched the video of her and Will talking. Yes, as a man, I know that Will was hurting. He is a strong man, okay? He's a strong man. And to sit and be able to talk through something like that, and be understanding, because I know, and then getting to a place again where you can talk to somebody after they done you like that, is real maturity on his side. Now, let me tell you guys, there is a lot of you guys out there who haven't healed, who haven't overcome childhood traumas, or you have mama issues, daddy issues, whatever the case may be, and you know, you have bad perspectives on marriage. You might grow up seeing your father hit your mother. You may have grown up without a father. You may have grown up a lot of different reasons. But let me tell you, if you have not worked to heal on your work to heal you, if you haven't worked to heal yourself, your inner wounds, your childhood wounds, your heartbreak wounds, anything, if you haven't worked on yourself, invested time to get better, then you're at this place. You're at this place of, when you have something good in your life, you always struggle with it, you know, because you're not really happy with yourself. So you can never be happy with somebody else until you find love, peace, contentment, and you're falling in love with yourself, like, individually. Then you can love and appreciate this person as they are. See, the thing about people is, people fail to understand that to love someone is, you already acknowledge, like, everything that goes on with this person. If you really love somebody, you analyze their behavior. I'm somebody who is very good at psychology, and I study childhood behaviors. I study all these different things, and I realized Jada doesn't like to be confined to anything, and she doesn't like to be confined to titles. She doesn't like to be confined. So in a sense, she doesn't like to feel like she's being hindered from being free. And it's a lot of people in the world like that. Just, it's not that they don't want a relationship. It's just that all these different things, like jobs, marriage, children, even children sometimes, makes them feel less free, makes them feel confined, makes them feel like they're in a box. And a lot of people run from that. A lot of people run from that kind of commitment. A lot of people run from those kind of responsibilities. And there's a lot of people in the world like Jada, okay? And it's normal. It happens, People like that do get themselves in entanglements, which is what she calls it. People get themselves in those kind of entanglements because they really don't believe in the things that they're involved in. Not to say that she can't grow into loving that once she learned to love herself. Like I said in the past on videos and relationships, it's all about growing as an individual and then learning to grow together, because no person remains the same forever. And the best thing about it is learning to grow as one throughout the phases of who we become. Because if you're going to love somebody, you're going to have to love somebody in their totality. Because it's not every day they're not going to be perfect. You're not going to have to just love them through the good days. You're going to have to love them through the bad days. For their mistakes, for their flaws, for those things they may say, or if they learned your ways of things that may irritate you. They may do something that irritates you and they know it, You got to love them through it all, okay? And that is the profoundness in Will, like Will's character. Will is like, you didn't think I can love you through this, but he's strong enough. He's saying, I know he's hurting. Yes, he has the right to hurt. He has the right to be pissed off. He has the right to be mad. He has the right to express himself angry. But we don't know what goes behind closed doors. But what I see from Will is a man who's very understanding, a man who's very mature, a man who is willing to work harder to getting his wife back. Not saying that she was ever gone, but she did go down a path that made it seem like she just wasn't going to work out anymore. So you need to work on yourselves. And why everybody's, deflecting judgment, and it really says a lot about you as a person. And you want to work on yourself, because while you're focusing on celebrities and, it shows how imperfect we all are. While you guys idolize people that have like money and wealth, the only difference is their financial statement and the fact that they've been on every television show that you've seen. That's the only difference between people who are wealthy or rich, is that you see them on every television show since the age of whatever. If I grew up watching Will on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I grew up watching Jada as well. And we all watch them, but some of you idolize them. Some of you come up with this fake ideology of how these people should be based on your messed up or fucked up perspective. And if you really believe people are perfect, if you really believe, because you've seen and watched them based on all those love movies that you watch, that these people are totally perfect, then you misconstrued life, because no one is perfect. Nobody, no one ever, And if you're not taught to overcome things, if you don't take therapy, if you don't learn who you are, you don't want to heal those wounds and overcome things and learn to be happy, learn to be happy with yourself, the things you love, being by yourself. When you're with somebody, you just drag them down, right? So finding a place of loving you, and it requires work. It requires true work. But it comes to a point where you have to face yourself. So if you're not willing to come to face with you, then you making judgments or slight remarks on people, relationships, it just really says a lot about you as a person. Now, no person in the world is perfect, and me being a Scorpio, I do not care for cheating, I do not care for lying, and I do not care for any of that stuff, right? And I do believe in getting even, but I'm a very forgiving person. I don't mind getting even either, because we all have a sense of personalities. You can't forget that it's different sides to every person, and every person that someone meets brings out a different side to them. Now, these aren't to justify that people will make mistakes. These aren't to justify that normalizing cheating and lying and stuff like that, and messing up loyalty is a good thing. But this is to totally say that things happen and people make mistakes, and the mistakes they make are not perfect. Okay, they're very messy. They're very hurtful. They cause you pain. They reveal you, because how you deal with that, how you face it together, and how you face it individually totally says a lot about how you are and how you mature and how you overcome wounds and how you face things as a person and how you solve problems in your life. I know a lot of people is going to just focus on the negativity, and I've never been married before, and I don't think anything is wrong with marriage. I just believe that if someone wanted to marry me, they would have to, the lines "till death do us part" will literally be a literal fact. Like you wouldn't be able to leave that until like death do its part. Like I have to literally be dead for you to be able to move on. Kind of, and that sounds crazy, but it's true. Like I'm serious. But that's the Scorpio in me. Like I don't really trust people anyway, so I trust people to do what they're gonna do and be who they say they're gonna be, but also, know that people can be greater. So I push people to be their greatest selves, and I don't hold people at this expectation of how they should be perfect or how they should make mistakes, because people are gonna make mistakes. And your ability to be strong and understanding and work through things together really will say a lot about you, okay? So I just want you guys to understand that not everybody is at a place of being healed. Not everybody's in a place of self-contentment, love, peace. Not everybody's honest about what's going on with them. And I've watched plenty videos on Jada's talk show that it showed that she had a lot of anger from her childhood. She had a lot of anger from watching her father and her mother fight. So that's childhood trauma that Jada has not overcome. She had a lot of anger with her daughter because of the things she experienced. She still is learning as an adult woman, whatever age Jada is at now. She's still learning how to be happy with herself, how to find contentment with herself, and she's still learning things at her age. I don't know how old she is, and she is a Virgo. And I think people been saying Will is a Libra, but I really don't know. I didn't do the research on it, but it's not important, okay? What is important is understanding that while you guys are judging her, you got to understand the deeper psychology and why she done it, and why that is a reason behind anything. If you study the psychology of something, if you study the behavior behind something, you study if you study the habits, the activities, if you study a person, okay, and understand why they do the things they do, if you watch a person closely, like I do, like I study people. I just don't ask a lot of questions directly. Not to say that I'm not watching you, because I am. I just study people from a distance. Now, I am pretty nosy, okay? But the way I study people is in a silent state, like, analyzing everything they do, every little thing they do. Because everything, small or big, has its own significance and has its own meaning. And from a psychological standpoint, her childhood is a huge denominator of why Jada is the way she is. But we cannot forever use our childhoods as an excuse for why we are unvaluable and why we're incompetent to becoming better. We cannot use those things as an excuse forever. And though those things affect us most, is why you want to make sure that your children have a decent childhood, okay? Because they will remember their childhoods far longer than they will remember their adult traumas. Like, we go through things as adults, but they never affect us the way our childhood traumas do. So remember that when you're scolding your children the way you do, or you're doing something that a child will remember and one day be the reflection of. Or remember when you tell your child, oh, don't smoke, and then you go back and smoke yourself. Like, remember the kind of example you are as a parent, because it does deflect on your children. It does become a generational cycle. It does become something hard to break from. And it does become something that children become adults and they begin to hate themselves. They begin to hate the idea of marriage. They begin to hate the ideals of children. And things put fear in people's hearts after getting these messed up perspectives of how things may go, because for all their lives they've never seen it ever go any other way. Most people are scared of marriage because everyone they've been around have complained, or maybe like 90 or maybe like 50% of marriages have, people who get married are divorced. And part of the reason why a lot of people are getting divorced is because people weren't serious in the first place, right? They weren't serious in the first place. They weren't honest about what they needed as individuals, or they weren't willing to grow as one. They wasn't willing to work on themselves, but also work individually together, because it requires a teamwork, but also a work as individuals. Because you guys are two worlds coming together, learning how to grow a world as one. And when you bring yourself to be tied to one person or be tied to someone else, you have to understand that a lot of things come with that. And if you're not at a place where you want to be in a committed relationship, or if you're not working up to that, because sometimes people require working on themselves in order for them to even get the idea to be, ate upon. Some people have to digest the idea of even being in anything, because they've been through so much. They've been hurt before, and these are not excuses, but these are reasons why people run, and why people are afraid of commitment, and why people don't want to be anything serious, or labels and whatnot. But the biggest thing about it is, if you're working on yourself and making room for improvement in you, no matter what, if you're somebody who believes in growth, and this is why this channel talks about peace, contentment, happiness, and all that good stuff, and how you can figure out how to get happiness for yourself. So this is just Jada's and Will's life from a different perspective, and people want to put them on ice, but I just want to get them, I just want to break down the waters, okay? Let you guys know that, cheating is not justifiable. Lying isn't either, but people do it, and it happens, okay? And though I'm a forgiving person, it's no telling how I would take that, but I'm very mature for my age, and everything you go through, everything you face in life requires a level of maturity, a level of understanding, a level of mental strength, and ability to be open-minded to understanding, to seeing and understanding why, and really getting down and talking about these things. You gotta really talk to your companion or partner and why they done these things, and really understand why. It could be you avoiding them, you not listening, you not verbally understanding how to communicate them, you not getting their love language. But even in that sense, even in knowing those things, they still have to learn to love themselves. So peace, love, and happiness. Have an abundant day. I hope you guys understand that you gotta put yourself in a place of not judging people, because if you spend your life judging people, you will always miss your own mistakes and flaws. And if you feel that you're perfect, then you're not, okay? I love you guys, but you guys are really closed-minded when it comes to things and mistakes and flaws of people, and why people are consumed by the behaviors and things that they're involved or drawn to. If you don't ever expand yourself to understand these things, you'll be left out the loop. So like, comment, subscribe, share, like this video, and a lot of you may disagree with me, but at the end of the day, a lot of you guys are emotional thinkers and not logical thinkers, and this is the reason why you don't understand why it got to this point with Jada. See, emotionally, okay, she just making excuses for why she can cheat. Okay, that's the emotional thinker. That's the emotional person. That's the angry. That can be Will if he wanted to be that way, but he isn't. But that's you. And a logical thinker, an open-minded thinker, somebody who's willing to understand and give that person the floor to explain. There's no justification for cheating or lying, but there is a reason behind everything. And if you're not open to knowing the reasons, you would never know why. Okay? So be a logical thinker over an emotional one. I love you guys. Any information you need to know about me is down in the description box below. Stay in tune and stay in touch. Love yourselves always.